Good morning. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Sunday morning service here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship in Laguna Beach. Whether you've joined us by Zoom or whether you're here in the building, we are so glad that you've joined us for worship today. My name is Pamela Floodman, and I will be serving as the worship associate this morning. And as is the case every week, this service is possible because of the really dedicated contributions of everyone who works together to make things happen here at UUFLB, providing audiovisual expertise, beautiful music, arranging the speakers, and overseeing our communications about upcoming services and events, and those who care for our building, and really take care of all of those details that are essential to enable the work that we do together in community. So thank you to all. We gather together as a community of seekers to honor the independence of life, to respect the dignity of all, and to honor the land we walk humbly upon. So this morning and always, let us acknowledge that we walk upon the traditional territories of the Ahashiman and Tongva peoples, the original nations of this land, who continue to cry out for justice and for self-determination. And we are committed to respecting and enhancing the sovereignty of these indigenous peoples. We recognize that we are blessed with a space and opportunity to strive to live out our principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to live out our dream of a world community of peace, liberty, and justice for all. And this morning, these words and these principles and the light that they bring, they seem to me especially important in our community and in our world. So let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and as we worship together. Today, we are delighted to welcome back to UUFLB Cesar Cardona as our guest speaker, as our guest storyteller, to explore together with us the profound symbolism of light across diverse cultures and traditions. Light, especially at this time of year as we move into the time of darkness. Today, we will be uncovering how these traditions inspire connection and illuminate the shared threads of our very human experience. And so in keeping with the theme of light, each Sunday, anywhere there is a service held in a Unitarian Universalist congregation, a chalice is lit. The flaming chalice is a symbol throughout the world of our faith. So if you've joined us this morning by Zoom, I invite you to light a chalice within your home, if you wish. And I did not ask him, but Cesar, I wonder if you'd be willing to come up and light our chalice while I read our chalice lighting words. This morning, our chalice lighting words were written by Melanie Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. So thank you, Cesar, for lighting the chalice this morning to begin our time of worship together. And throughout the service this morning, if you're here with us in the building, I invite you, if you wish, to come forward at any time and light a candle here in the sanctuary, if you wish, to recognize whatever it is that you're carrying in your heart as you join us for worship today. And we will also have a time later in the service to share any spoken joys and concerns. At UUFLB, we are a welcoming congregation, and this means, in addition to welcoming all who've come, that we are committed to working together to make a difference and to build a community, and to actively dismantle oppression and systemic racism in all of its forms. Whoever you are, whomever you love, no matter your age or your gender, your ancestral or ethnic background, your life experiences, and really whatever it is that's brought you here to join us this morning, we welcome you to our community of mutual caring and serious intent to grow together as spiritual, ethical beings, and to live out our values in our world. And it is such a joy for us to have guests on Sunday mornings. So if we have anyone who is here this morning for the first and second time, we'd love to get to know you. If you are comfortable doing so, we would invite you to share with us your name, where you are from, and what brings you to visit our church today. And I can't see because the little thumbnails are so tiny up there. Do we have any guests who are with us on Zoom who would like to introduce themselves? It looks like not. And is there anyone in the building who would like to introduce themselves? I see a lot of familiar faces today. Well, let's take now just a quick moment to turn to our neighbors for a quick greeting and to offer personal welcome to old and to new friends as Carol gives us probably some festive music for the season.
Hi, Dawn.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Jean.
Hi, Jane.
You're muted, Jean.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
That's the one feature I wish they would allow is for the host to be able to unmute people.
Yeah.
I guess that could be an invasion of privacy for someone.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. It looks like a goodly crowd.
It is.
Enjoyed breakfast already this morning with the first Spanish teacher I had here. I've had 3. They've all become friends and less teachers. But
that's awesome.
It is. Yeah, it was delightful. And my neighbor, and she can't speak English very well, and I don't speak Spanish well, so it was convenient having the teacher with us.
For joining us here at UUFLB this morning. And we hope that you have a few minutes to stay and enjoy coffee and conversation after the service. I think maybe Cesar will be able to stay for a few minutes after the service to talk with folks as well. So now I would like to give just a few announcements and start with the upcoming services that are coming as we go through the remaining weeks of the month of December. Next week, Bill Steiner, a friend of this congregation and frequent visitor, will be coming to speak with us. And Bill is a lawyer with a real focus on supporting workers and workers' rights, and he's bringing to us a message that will fit, I think, with this point in time where we are in the country and in our work as a congregation to help us move forward with whatever situations it is that we're faced with in the coming weeks and in the coming years. So I know we're all looking forward to see Bill next week. The following week, Yvette McDonald will be joining us to lead us in a service that will be on December 22nd, to lead us in a service that brings together the experiences of the season and reminds us as we move into the time of darker days and into the time of winter that we can slow down to the rhythms of the season and use that as a time for ourselves and to go inward and prepare for all that's coming forward. So that will be Yvette McDonald, who's joining us on December 22nd. And then on December 29th, a real treat, Reverend Casey Marie Pandel will be joining us. A few of you may know Casey because she was an intern minister at Tapestry, another of the congregations here in Orange County. And Reverend Casey is now the minister of the Summit UU Fellowship, and it's just really exciting. I think that Casey will be coming here to be leading a service with us here at UUFLB. That's on December 29th. And so between December 22nd and December 29th, between those two Sundays, is a service at Tapestry on December 24th, which is Christmas Eve. It's a Tuesday this year, at 5:30 p.m. They will be having a Christmas Eve service at Tapestry. Reverend Dr. Kent Doss will be leading that service. Again, many of us know Kent, and he's leading a service that he's titled Waiting for a Sign. All are welcome to this candlelight Christmas Eve service. I know many of us have attended the Christmas Eve service at Tapestry before, and it's really a beautiful service and a beautiful time to get together with those who are part of the congregation at Tapestry. So we're all welcome to join that. For other announcements and upcoming events, first of all, just a reminder that every Monday at noon without fail, even on holidays, Paul Bogdan helps to host a Zoom gathering, a Zoom at noon gathering, for anyone who wants to join and be together in community with other folks from the fellowship and others who come to join that gathering to share thoughts and to support each other. It's really a time, I think, that just engenders conversation. There's typically a topic that people have thought about as they come to the Zoom at noon meeting, although I think the conversation often ranges quite widely from the original topic that's brought up, and everyone's encouraged to attend that if you're able to. I also want to say a big thank you to those who participated this past week in providing a meal at the alternative sleeping location in Laguna Canyon on Thursday. This congregation once a month joins together to provide the different components of a meal so that there's a hot, healthy, and fun meal available for the folks who are staying at the Alternative Sleeping Center that evening. So thank you to all of you who participated, and of course this will be coming up again when we hit the first month of January. The next Thursday, I think, will be January 2nd. And if you're interested in participating, there will absolutely be a way that you can participate in providing that meal. The last announcement that I have, I think there's another slide as well, Dawn, is our holiday gift giving this year. So Noreen Kukkonen, one of our members, has arranged for us to be Santas this year for those folks who are served by the Friendship Center in Laguna Canyon, again related to the alternative sleeping location. And what Noreen has told us is the Friendship Center has a holiday wish list. And the facility has requested donations of lotion, deodorant, soap, toothpaste, basically those essentials that are necessary for all of us and for our neighbors who are staying at the alternative sleeping location. And the facility is asking these donations now at the holiday time so that they can sort of stockpile them and have a steady supply as it's needed over the coming months. So all of us can participate in this gift giving. Following the service today, I think we'll be putting the tree up here in the fellowship, and as you are able, bring donations to the church on the remaining Sundays in December. You could also order online and have them delivered here to the church so that we can decorate our tree basically with our donations and make a difference for those who we really have an ability to help. And Noreen reminds us how St. Francis really said it best. It is in giving that we receive, and of course this season is a wonderful time for us to practice. Our gathering music this morning was Moon Shadow, written and performed by Cat Stevens, who has been known since 1978 as Yusuf Islam. And he has said that it is his favorite song from his time as Cat Stevens. And I love having the opportunity to go find and pick music for the service each week that I have this role as worship associate. And I did find it challenging this week. I was looking for music related to light and darkness. And I found some good music, but nothing I really wanted to use. And then somehow in the back of my head, I started to hear Moonshadow. And so I went and found it and decided that it really was relevant for the service. Cat Stevens, in an interview, or Yusuf Islam in an interview, described its origin. He was on a holiday in Spain, and he was a kid basically from the West End of London, which is like major city area, bright lights everywhere, and you probably rarely get a really good clear view of the dark night sky and the stars and the moon. He says he never got to see the moon on its own in the dark. There were always street lamps. And so there he was in Spain on the edge of the water on a beautiful night with the moon glowing. And he looked down and he saw his shadow the first time that he'd seen a moon shadow. And this interplay between light and dark is so much a part of this season of winter that we are entering. This time, again, as the days get shorter, and yet the dark nights really can be lit with stars and with moonlight and with the light of hope. And so with this in mind, I wonder if Dawn can bring up the slide for our centering thought for today. The centering thought that I chose for today is from Mahatma Gandhi. And Mahatma Gandhi said, "In the midst of darkness, light persists." So now please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit, and join Carol in singing our opening hymn, number 1051. This is a favorite of the fellowship, and I also think it's a hymn about the light that we bring to each other, that we bring to those who are related to us, and that we bring to community. So we'll be singing hymn number 1051, We Are.
In each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage and fathers of time. We are daughters of dust and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy and brothers of love. We are lovers of life and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers, are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are.
Let us take a moment to remind ourselves why we come together as a community. So I'm going to invite you, as we do each week, to read these words together when and if it feels right for you. And if you've joined us by Zoom, you may want to unmute your microphone, and then we can hear the voices joined together here in the fellowship building. The words of the unison affirmation are on the screen, and please join me in reading. May we
May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love, service to the altar of humanity.
altar of humanity. May we
May
know
we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other.
other. So we have come to a time in our service to briefly share important events that have happened within our lives in the past week. And in this fellowship, we really are committed to each other and committed to sustaining this community where it can be meaningful to share our sorrows so that we can provide support and care for each other, and where we can share our joys, because it's also essential to share our joys so that they can be amplified and extend beyond ourselves. So during this time of sharing joys and concerns, we are pausing the recording of It is as much a blessing to be able to give as it is to receive. And we know that this is a self-sustaining, self-governing community where we all have a responsibility to both give and to receive and to do both well. And we know that all of our gifts, which are generously given, our time and our compassion, our humor, our singing voices, and our financial contribution, all of these are needed for this fellowship and for its continued work in the world. So during this time of offering, Candy will be passing a basket here within the fellowship, and for those who are with us virtually, there are also additional ways in which you can give shown up on the screen. So now please stand as you're comfortable in body, mind, or spirit, and join with us as we sing to each other the words that we sing each week of sincere gratitude. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you all. I love hearing the voices come together in the melodies and the harmony. And one of the really lovely things about being up here is that Candy harmonizes when we sing this beautiful music, and it's really fun to sing together with someone in harmony. So thank you all. I invite you now into a time of meditation. So you may wish to adjust your position. Put your feet flat on the ground. Allow your body to rest easily against the back of the chair if that is comfortable. Your hands gently open, palms up, resting in your lap. Allow your eyelids to be relaxed and half closed. Your breathing soft and easy. Follow your breath in and out. In and out as we enter our time of silence and reflection. It is now my honor and my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker this morning, Cesar Cardona. Many of you met Cesar when he joined us for worship this past summer. He reminded me it was September. I had in mind August, but it was September. We're so delighted to welcome Cesar back here to UUFLB. Cesar is a speaker and an educator who specializes in social unification and growth mindset. And we were speaking before the service. Cesar explained for me growth mindset, which I really appreciated. He also told me that when he visited Taylor's classroom, they and their sister told him, yes, we already know what growth mindset is. So I'm learning from the children among us, as well as the learning that we'll have from Cesar today. He works together with children, with teens, with adults, and he has a certification in mindfulness from Rice University, experience learning from Sri Lankan and Tibetan Buddhist monks, and he combines mindfulness practices with actionable strategies, work that we can actually each do to foster personal growth, connection, resilience across all age groups. And today, Cesar will be speaking with us about the light of the season. So Cesar, thank you again for being here with us today at UUFLB.
One, two. Everyone can hear me? Yes. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me again here. I appreciate you so much. I'm honored to be here again. I am humbled that you all invited me here again as well. I was here back in September, like mentioned before, And I've been looking forward to come back here again, and I'm just as thrilled to be here in December as I was in September, especially during this time that it's about reflection of the year past and the thought about the year coming. I think that we spend so much time getting festive over a lot of things instead of representing and appreciating the festival of right here, right now. And in this time, in this year, this time of year, we have darker days physically, literally. It's not too dissimilar from how we all live our days as well. When you close your eyes to go to sleep at night, you're experiencing darkness threefold. And conversely, when you wake up in the day and you open your eyes, you're experiencing light threefold. Now, just symbolically, that means that you, every day, are experiencing light and darkness combined. And that goes on again to the next day. And that goes on to the next day again. Until a week goes by. And that keeps going until a month goes by. And then a year goes by. And over time, we find that the earth itself experiences that same dark and light. Sometime in the year it's lighter for longer, sometime it's darker for longer. And we appreciate that since we are of nature, we do the same thing as the planet. And so have our ancestors as well. And they recognize the cycle also. The cycle of your day to week to season to month to year, so on and so forth. They appreciate it also, and they found themselves meeting every transition from one thing to the next in ritual. For us in this culture, for the most part, when you think about holiday and ritual during this time, you think of Christmas, Hanukkah, the two main ones in this region. They both represent and celebrate with light. The remote's not working. Oh, there you go. Oh, great. Next slide, or point? Okay. This is a list, and not a full list, of the other cultures that have light during November and December, the darkest days of the year. Either by way of fire, or candle, or electricity. It goes on and on and on. But we recognize the first two up top for the most part because it's around us. I'm not going to go into all of these because it's quite a lot. And there's more even, actually. This is all I could fit on the PowerPoint. I couldn't put any more in there. But if I may, I'll go over a couple of them if I can. Have the next slide, please. Oh, yeah? Oh, great. Great. Wonderful. Thank you. First one we know, Christmas. Symbolically, it's a story of Jesus born. This man who came into the new caste system, and broke through and recognized that everybody's more equal. And the tradition that we have here of gathering the tree is a ritual of paganism. That is taking the tree, a tall tree, historically, cutting it off from where it is, putting it into the ground, and lighting candles. Now, of course, in our society, we shouldn't be lighting 50 candles in our house next to a tree, so we light it and with electricity. But why do we choose the tree? Why does the tree show up so often, so symbolically? And what does it take for a tree to grow so tall? Well, if you look at it literally in order to understand the symbolism, the deeper the roots of the tree, the higher the canopy. The deeper the roots of the tree into the dark underground, the higher up it becomes to reach the stars. the sun, the moon. Your symbolism lays right there within it. And that's who we are. When we sit and meditate a few minutes ago, our job is to put our feet in the ground and root ourselves. And then we close our eyes for tranquility, for some sort of illumination that shows up. We put the dark with the light again. Jesus himself said, I am the light of the world. Who follows me will never be in darkness. Who does follow me will have the light of life. He's talking about the illumination of the here, now, and the connection that we all have. Oh, there we go. When we move on to the Jewish tradition, we have the menorah, of course. They use light as well. The story is of Antiochus, who was a ruler of the town, and he wanted to do away with Judah and his Maccabees, his followers. He essentially said, I wanted to extinguish these people, the same way you extinguish light in somebody. Judah and his very small group of soldiers managed to battle Antiochus and have him run out of the town, but not before Antiochus smashed and obliterated their temple. Soldiers, the Maccabees, go back into the temple. They find a menorah. They want to light the menorah, but they only have a can with enough oil to burn for one day and night. They light it nonetheless, and they go to work on rebuilding their temple, and that can of oil lasts for 8 days. The symbolism of the people who, no matter how dark it was, stayed illuminated and to fight is shown in the menorah here. I've been to celebrations of Hanukkah before, and very often, not unlike this photo here, they take the center candle and light the other candles. There's your beautiful symbolism there, because every single one of us are illuminated. And it's our job to make sure we illuminate the next person. We light this chalice here. We light these candles down here. If we take one candle and light the other, that initial one does not blow out. Doesn't lose any of its flame. It's the same with you. You can light the next person you see up, and you don't lose any version of yourself. Oh, first time on this one. 1966, the African American community, my community, decided to take their past, Africa, and their current living in America, and tie together the two cultures. They called it Kwanzaa. And they light candles as well. 7 of them, exact, that are symbolically laid out for the struggles and the history of our ancestors. The reds on the one side represent the blood shed of our black people, the one in the middle. And the green is for the earth, the abundance of life, the future that holds with us, that same earth that gives us life every single day, that gives us trees, for example, that gives us fruit and oxygen and shade. Yeah, 2, please, if you could. Right there's perfect. Moving over to the Scandinavian culture, we have St. Lucia. This saint here on the side, pictured on the right, was a saint who inherited money from her father who deceased. Instead of giving it away when she deceased, she gave it away in the here and now to the sick, to the poor. This did not appease the rulers at the time, nor her suitor. So they came to kill her so they could take the money. And upon walking into her house while she sat there, they went to pull her to take her to the dungeon, and she could not move. They couldn't move her, no matter how many soldiers tried to move this woman. She couldn't go. She was rooted into that moment, into that space. They killed her nonetheless as she sat right there. They also removed her eyes. Ouch. While they also took her to the tomb, finally, And to wrap her up for burial, they realized her eyes were still in her head. So that part is a story that stayed with the culture. You can see it even depicted here. Because she has the eyes here, but the eyes are on or she's holding in her hand. Those are the real eyes. This is the secondary eye that you live with. You close your eyes at night and you have a dream. You're still seeing, but your eyes are closed. Because the eternal illumination is who you really are. It appealed to the culture so much that even Dante, Dante's Inferno, wrote about this story. Could you go to the next slide, please? Dante goes into the circles of hell, another dark place, of course. He's led there by Virgil, who has a dream that he should go and help Dante. Who tells him of the dream? His deceased wife. Virgil goes into his sleep at night, gets an illumination from his wife who's passed on, tells him, you need to go help Dante go into those dark realms. And who tells his wife that? St. Lucia. And it's depicted again here, this blind woman leading the way into the darkness. This is your illumination we're seeing again. Next slide, please. And we can move even further over. We can go to Iranian culture. They have what's called Yalda. And in this culture, there's a realization of the fire that ties the culture together, going through the dark times of the culture. Next slide, please. So much that they realize how hard it will be. But nothing stops the illumination, the light of community. These sparkles here in the fire from before, they'll go out. But the joy and the connectivity between the cultures, between person to person, will last forever and keep moving on and on and on. Next slide, please. Going to India. In the Hindu tradition, we have Diwali. The story says at Diwali that a ruler named Lord Rama was out away from his town, and a demon came to battle him. When he battled and beat and conquered that demon, the townsmen people were so excited about this that on his way home, they lit the walking path back home with candles, recognizing that it's the fire within that connects without. The same tradition in the Upanishads, the Svetasvatara Upanishad says, fire, though present in the stick, is not perceived until it is rubbed against another. Fire, though present in the stick, is not perceived until it's rubbed against the other. How do we not see these symbols? How do we not get hung up on the image itself instead of going past it and recognizing what's being said here? We have all these cultures talking to us about fire that lives within us and how we bond and go through times. Cultures that are not even touching each other, that don't even communicate with each other. As you saw in the first or the second slide, as far back as the 57th century BCE. Next slide, please. And depending on what time of year it is, depending on the moon, December 8th or 9th, today or tomorrow, we have what's called Bodhi Day for Buddhists. As a Buddhist, we recognize this day as the day the Buddha sat under the tree of illumination, of knowledge. And he woke up. The word Buddha means to wake up, one who woke up. And to wake up is one who is enlightened. The clues are right there, just waiting for us. The Buddha gathers that information. He realizes that we are all manifestations of Buddha consciousness, goes back into the world and shares that, much like Jesus, going out, gathering information, coming back, sharing it. Next slide, please. So what am I saying here about this light? I'm letting you know it's in you for sure. And we all realize this. We've gotten into a society where we have looked for everything as materialistic as possible. What we can touch, what we can sense, what we can smell, what's fake news, what's not fake news, what's real, what's false, what's good, what's bad. But we forgot about the awareness that sits within us every single day. That cycle from the beginning, when you wake up and go to sleep, that turns into months, that turns into years, that makes you go from age 5 to 15 to 25 to 35 and so on and so forth. That means you change. Your skin, your hair, your beliefs, your thoughts. Everything you thought you knew, everything you'll never know, and everything you will know eventually will change over time. Your favorite taste in coffee, how you like your music, how you like your breakfast, your drive here, your drive home, they're always going to change consistently. The only thing that will stay the same is your consciousness that experienced it all. That's the light. I guarantee every single one of you couldn't describe to me physically what your consciousness is, but you know it's there. If I told you think about the image of smoke on the water, you're thinking about it now, and then you recognize that you're thinking about it. Your feelings come and go. I'm speaking to you right here, but if I raise my voice, then you realize that. And then you recognize that you've realized it. It's that awareness that connects every single one of us to each other. And the best way we can do that is by getting rooted in our own selves, appreciating who we are, and then sharing it with the next person. Every single one of those cultures and the ones I didn't mention have a realization of that, and they still maintain in our society today because they work on us, because we realize it intuitively. My friends, if there's anything in this world that I would share with the rest of the world, if there's one last thing I could say to anybody in this society, it's to realize the light that is within. And then you'll find the light that's without. You're not your thoughts. You're not your beliefs. You're not your practice in the world. All of those things are vehicles to get you to the destination, to make you realize you are an illuminated person. You are consciousness having a physical body experience. I implore you, I challenge you, I beg of you to release the things that you hold on to that you know will change. And instead, resonate with the calmness and the peace of that consciousness. It is non-dual. It's not even one, because that's an implication that it's going to end. It's non-two. So when I see you, I see a version of myself. We live in this society here where all of these little intricate details we think are separate from each other, but it's not. I guarantee you it is cosmic origami. We stand on one side of the wing of the dove and the other side as well, and as soon as that paper finally gets flushed out to be flattened, you recognize it's the same paper. We are no different. So if I may wrap this up by saying one final thing, it is to find your light first. Think less about what somebody has or hasn't done. Think about what you can. Find that personal peace that's within here, and over time you will illuminate outward. Once you've done that, next slide please. Please, light my fire. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, Cesar. Thank you for lighting our fires. I saw that slide was going to be coming up. I was curious how it was going to come in. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And now I'd like to invite everyone to please stand as you are comfortable in body, mind, or spirit. We'll be singing hymn number 146, I have written here, is that right? Hymn number 146, Soon the Day Will Arrive. The words will be on the screens.
Some have dreamed, some have died to make a bright tomorrow, and our vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch may be passed with no hope, not in sorrow, and a promise to make a new start. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me.
Now is the time for us to extinguish the chalice here at UUFLB and within our homes with words from Reverend Ben Atherton Zeman. As we extinguish the flame on our chalice, we ignite it within ourselves. Our commitment to our mission and to one another is an unquenchable flame. Let us remember that we are not alone until we light this flame next time. So now, as I extinguish the flame, please rise and join in singing our closing song.
Please join me in Let There Be Peace on Earth, and the lyrics will be on the screen. You can form a circle if you'd like. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with earth as our mother. We are family. Let's walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Have a lovely day.